What's up, my fellow Doncicians? I'm theLUKAshow. Welcome to the Luka Show. And I'm back in my hobby room. I've done a few episodes where I've been out, but back where I'm comfortable with all my Lukas. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm going to give away a Luka jersey, one of two that I have remaining behind me. It's going to be the egg hunt. We're going to go back to a classic game, make this gamified. So good luck, everybody. First person to post the correct answer when you gather all the eggs, unscramble them, is going to win one of these two jerseys. Your choice, so good luck. Now, this episode, I want to talk about Luka Doncic card prices. Now, this is somewhat of a tricky subject because I own a lot of Luka cards, as you guys know if you're subscribed. And so I don't want to be pumping up his cards. I just want to look at the potential his cards have going forward. Now, a lot of people have been buying in, picking up Luka cards recently, and of course, as you guys know, his card prices have really gone up quite a bit over the last, you can even look at the last 3, 4, 5 months, and if you go back a year, it's gone up even more, and it's just been an incredible ride for those holding on to Luka cards. Yesterday, we saw a sale of a Luka RPA, National Treasures RPA to 99, go for $230,000. Now, let's wait and see if that is actually paid for. So, I'm not going to set that in stone, but the bids, some of them look pretty legitimate. There was some retracted bids. It went from 230 down to 220, but looking at the bids, there were several, it looked like quite a few legitimate buyers there. So let's just say $200,000 for this RPA. You know, it's incredible. Let's first take a look at that RPA. And I should note, there was a very interesting piece done on that patch. Darren Rovell, he has a Twitter feed. He had Kyle, one of my good hobby buddies from Wax Museum podcast on, and basically they discussed that patch and that it was the number 8, right? And how could Luka Doncic card have a patch number 8? And Kyle, one of the most knowledgeable guys out there, especially when it comes to patches, told Darren that basically Luka wore a jersey with the number 88 because the 88 creates the most patch pieces, prime patch pieces, and they do that deliberately because of that. They want to, you know, patch windows are getting bigger, and Panini wants to have quality patches, as many quality patches as they can, and that's why you see a piece of the 8 patch on that Luka RPA that sold to $230,000. I thought that was really interesting. I never even really realized that. But let's take a look at that card, right? Let's say $200,000, where that started. It started off at release, it was going for $8,000 to $10,000, and it stayed that way for quite some time until Luka started his second year, and that's when we really saw that card take off. Now, you know, if you're buying that card at $200,000, some people are saying, well, what's the upside, right? Like how, and some people have said, why don't I sell my RPA? I will show off, let me whip out my D. I'll show off my beautiful Luka anytime I can. You know, why don't I sell this card now? I've got that inquiry a lot. Are you going to sell this card now? And yes, I was one of the fortunate people who bought in that $8,000 to $10,000 range. And yes, obviously I've seen a lot of growth. It's still hard for me to believe that this is as much as it is, you know, considering where I bought it, and to hold on to this and see the growth, it's been quite a ride. And the reason why I'm not going to be selling this card anytime soon is, one, the main thing is I'm a Doncician now, right? I'm going to be enjoying this card. I want to enjoy this card as I watch Luka progress into his career. And also, I think there is significant upside, right? If Luka is on the trajectory that it appears that he is, right? A historic, You know, some people say only Magic Johnson really has a resume that you could compare. LeBron James, you could say also, if you're looking at his third year, for a 21-year-old to be doing what Luka does. So if he continues on this trajectory, and of course that means championships down the line, you look at LeBron James cards, right? You saw LeBron James, it was a number to 23, his exquisite patch go for $1.8 million as a gem mint a few months ago. And we take a look at that card. Right, and I do believe that's why we see Luka's RPA take that jump as well, as people realize, hey, this card could be a $1 million card in the future if he continues to show that the skill, the potential that he has, you know, exhibited in bunches. So for me, right, it is an astounding amount of money. But again, I had the temptation when this went from 8,000 to 50,000 in a couple of months stretch. I had that temptation. People were telling me, and again at 100,000. Now we see this new jump. Now, of course, if Luka's career does not pan out, this card could plummet in value, right? Luka experiences injuries, doesn't have the championship pedigree. This $200,000 card will not be a $200,000 card in the future. But again, I kind of look at things as risk reward, even in this scenario. And if I feel that this card can be $1 million plus 5-10 years down the line, that gain in value, even at $200,000, is worth it for me. Now, it really is dependent on the person, right? If you have life needs, if you need to buy a home, if you have bills that you need to pay, I totally understand selling this card. But right now, in the position that I'm in, where the urgency isn't there, and my cards here, for the most part, it's a hobby for me. I can't move this and in 5-10 years see these going for $1 million, $2 million. It would be too painful, considering, you know, how much I enjoyed watching this guy play. And watching these playoffs, obviously it was a sad ending to the season. I had a bitter taste in my mouth, considering Kristaps only played basically 2.5 of those 6 games. I heard a lot of people saying, like, oh, if they just have one more piece, if they get someone like Bradley Beal, you know, I say no, man. I want to see this team with Kristaps, bring back Dwight. You know, you already have 3-and-D guys with Dorian Finney, Maxi Kleber. You got great shooters and Steph Curry. Yes, Tim Hardaway Jr. is a little up and down, but he really had a great season, and you know, I think you got to give him credit there. I feel like this team, if it's fully healthy, is championship caliber, and sadly, we didn't get to see the best version of the Mavericks. Obviously, the Clippers were a tough test, but Luka really showed that the playoffs, the intensity, the pace, is not going to change his game. It's not going to change his stats. And of course, that game winner, game 4, what an incredible moment that was. In previous episodes, I was planning on selling a bunch of Luka Doncic's. I did move a few Lukas. I did move a Luka Galactic rookie to a good hobby friend of mine. And I moved a few smaller second-year cards, but, you know, watching the playoffs made me realize, hey, you know what? I'm going to find a different route to gain funds to buy a big card of mine. So I basically have stopped selling all of the Lukas that I had originally planned. And I'm going to sell off other cards, wax, specifically to get the funds so I can go chase after a big card. But for now, watching these playoffs, and yes, we're heading into an off season now, I'm still going to be holding tight, guys. Now, I do think, you know, Luka's cards really got hot, especially his higher print run cards, like his base Prism with over 13,000 graded, I believe, gem mints. So there are cards that just inevitably, with such high supply, is going to have more variants. It's probably going to drop, as there just aren't as many people interested in picking up that card when you're not hearing Luka every other day on SportsCenter. So, yes, like, those cards could take a hit, but the cards that I really focused in on, you know, lower print run cards, you know, I'm pretty in touch with other Luka collectors, and for the most part, you know, we're not giving these up. And that really does add to the nice fundamentals of holding on to Luka long term. And Luka's a guy, you know, I know, he's got long-term appeal. And that, in the end, is the main reason why I felt very confident holding onto a card like this and seeing where it ends up in 5 to 10 years. So it could be a disaster story, or it could be me holding a $1 million plus card. And that's the dream. That's what, I mean, maybe not for everybody, but when I was a little kid collecting cards, the dream was to buy a card that would go up in value over time. Part of it was the appeal of collecting cards and collecting players that I liked, but I gotta admit, a big factor was hoping that these cards, the cards I was collecting as a kid, would go up in value. And now, in today's hobby climate, that's actually happening. It's really exciting, and I'm really excited to see what this kid does in the future. I know this episode is a little bit rambling, but again, the jersey is up for grabs. It's been a great season. I'm going to continue to put out content. I might switch it up a little bit, get out of the hobby room here and there. I think you guys enjoyed those episodes. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Peace out.